Tropical Storm Barry is about to hit New Orleans. My name is Justin. You are watching Jinka Jabo. From CNN, Tropical Storm Barry presents New Orleans with an unprecedented problem. According to the National Weather Service, the Mississippi River, which is usually at 6 to 8 feet in midsummer in the Big Easy, is now at 16 feet, owing to record flooding that's taken place this year all along the waterway. The article is in the description below, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about Tropical Storm Barry. It's kind of an odd name for the tropical storm. I'm not sure how they do that, if they alternate between men and women, and I don't know. I remember the first hurricane that I remember was Andrew. I think that was in 91 or 92, and I remember seeing that really covered on the news and spread about everywhere, and being kind of scared, but also thinking, in Wisconsin, where I was as a kid, like, we didn't have to worry about hurricanes. I think some of my family, I'm from a pretty big family, and some of us live in the southeast. I think some of us have experienced hurricanes. I myself have not, apart from a few typhoons. I've been through a few typhoons, a couple in Vietnam and one in Taiwan. Anyway, that's a different thing. I remember the wind being so strong out here that it would actually push over my moped. I was driving a moped back then. It was bad. I didn't realize they called off class or whatever. I showed up anyway. Anyway, the Mississippi River, usually 6 to 8 feet. That's interesting to hear. And the Big Easy. The Big Easy is the name for New Orleans. And I've never been there. I really want to go there someday. It's probably top on the list of the places in the States that I would like to visit. Because in addition to being the birthplace of jazz, and I love jazz music, and the birthplace of shrimp po' boys and jambalaya, and I really love New Orleans food. I could eat that and just that, without a doubt. It's so good. And Fascination Street, the Cure song is about New Orleans, about going through the French Quarter. And Anne Rice is awesome. I read 4 or 5 of her vampire books a couple of years ago. So anyway, I remember when Katrina hit. This was in 2005. I was still in college, right? And I was broke. I didn't have any money, but I remember contributing to, I don't know if it was the Red Cross Fund or something, even as a broke college kid, because I was just heartbroken watching what was happening in the news and realizing that the city would not be the same after that. And I haven't been there before or after that, but I have heard on good authority that it has changed a lot since the levees broke. In that horrific blunder that I pin on George W. Bush, what a terrible president, the way that whole thing was handled. And was it Ray Nagin was the mayor? It was just a complete disaster. Not just the physical disaster, but just the political response to it. So I'm not sure where my small contribution went, but like many Wisconsinites, we all decided to give charity. And I remember back in the day I was part of a band, and this band played fusion jazz music, right? And I just performed with them just a few times, just doing vocals. And we had written one really dark song called Thinker. And I remember before we played that, we dedicated that to the officers who died in the stadium, because there was a stadium where everyone was living, and during Katrina, 2 of the police officers just jumped to their deaths because they were so depressed about everything that was happening. So we played that song, and it was really good. I wish we had gotten it on tape. One of the musicians, actually, I later saw him on The Tonight Show, because he made it pretty big with my classmate, Justin Vernon. Anyhow, I was thinking of 2005, and I don't want that to repeat. I don't want. I wish they, or I hope that they've learned something from what happened with Katrina, and that they're able to resist Tropical Storm Barry. But it is frightening that the Mississippi River is so high right now, and that's going to create a lot of problems. Like, that's a very tempestuous, unpredictable river. And I remember, like, I've spent a lot of time in the Mississippi, not in Louisiana, but in, of course, in Wisconsin and Minnesota, in Iowa, Illinois, Missouri. Like, I've been along the river in many places. And I remember summers when the river would get really, really high, and actually it would damage houses. And no matter how much people were preparing for it and what people thought, they would still succumb to damage. And so we are dealing with something very serious here if the Mississippi River is really high, and people are not prepared for it. So keep your eyes on the news. That's all I have to say as far as Tropical Storm Barry, and just pray and spread the word. Let's make sure people are prepared, people are able to get out of that city, because we don't want Katrina to happen again, because that was just a very dark time in our country's history, some time that I remember. Over and out.